another package all the way from Japan. I can't wait to unbox it. That's coming tomorrow. Today I want to focus 100% just on music making. I'm working on a song called Save the Day. It was already finished. I had labels that were interested in it, but I don't feel like it's good enough. It's missing something. Something just doesn't work, and I tried already, and now I'm at the point where I want to try something entirely new, at least for the drop, and see how it goes. But instead of boring you with me trying to come up with something, let's do another edition of track submits where you guys send me songs, I listen to them, give you feedback. It's always fun. Let's see what kind of tracks we got today.
Can't help but take it farther. I'm breathing underwater.
So the first track is by Dima and called Unshakeable. I'd say, like, for someone just starting out, a good track. The balance isn't there yet. It's very, very mid-heavy. The piano and the vocals are both too loud. Maybe that's someone using small speakers or a room that isn't acoustically treated and can't hear the top and low end. But it's like, it sounds a little awkward. You need more kick, more bass, more top end, less of the mid frequencies. But on the right path to getting there. All of the elements in there make sense. There's not too much in there, not too little. It's really just like the overall balance needs to be shifted around a little, and this could actually work. Let's do the next one by Someone Car Test ID 2. Balance is way better. We got all of the elements sitting at the right frequency spot, so mixing wise it's good enough to actually be released. My critique point would be like the main sound, the main lead synthesizer sound. I think after the drop, just kick and bass could be enough and sound even fatter and more clubby and like just hit a lot harder. The main synthesizer, like the melody and the sound of it, the melody is like too playful, I think, for electronic dance music. I mean, this can be intentional, artist intent. I don't want to discuss these kind of things, but I think if the melody is simpler, more groovy, it actually makes the people dance more and it sounds cooler and kind of more club vibey. And the sound, I'm missing more effects, saturation, proper EQing, maybe layering, maybe some delays, just to make it more interesting. Just using a plain synthesizer sound is nowadays unfortunately not enough anymore. You have to process it a lot. Next up, My Remedy by Beyond. Actually an amazing old school inspired house song. Mixing is alright, it's a tiny bit muddy, but that's also sometimes part of the old school kind of vibe. We got the organ bass, we got the Korg M1 piano sounding like main elements, some vocals here and there. I think that's a great track. This could be actually a release on some of those old school inspired labels at the moment, and definitely something like for an open air event, or maybe the opening of a DJ set.
And not for you. And not for you.
Not bad. The mixing is actually there. I like the elements. The vocals repeat a little too much. The entire song is basically a loop. There is not a lot of variation, but I'm digging the vibe. It's not really club. I can't really tell what it is. By the way, it's by Dima Records, or no, that's the record label. Polankaichi, I don't know how to pronounce it. Feel You. It's it's interesting, but it's definitely not finished. It's not there yet. It doesn't, like, the arrangement doesn't convince me at all. It's just the same thing from start to finish. But if you would just take like a small snippet for, I don't know, a YouTube video or advertisement or stuff like that, it could actually work. Anyways, next up by Bartolomeu, The Anchor. Not bad. Techno, melodic techno, arpeggiator, bass line, kick, always works, for me at least. I like it. It could be improved. There are some small mixing issues, but nothing major. The top end is missing a tiny bit. There's like a gap between like 300, 400 hertz, which is a little awkward because that's actually where you want to put the most stuff in, because that's the most exciting, like the upper bass, lower mids kind of region. But in total, arrangement is good, sound selection is good, not too full, not too empty. Yeah, this, with a tiny bit of work, could maybe be released on one of those melodic techno labels. Next up, by Luke, a song called Samurai. I like the cover. This song goes into a big room direction. It has some issues. I know it's very hip to have like these basses underneath of the kick and just boo, 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 and that's it, which takes away the entire groove and everything. But yeah, that's like a matter of taste. But like, I mean, you can see it in the graph. There's like weird stuff going on. A huge gap around 400 to 600 hertz. There is again the lower mid bass, the upper bass kind of part is missing entirely, because the kick and the stop is just there, and then that high main synth sound that is a little too high. I would actually lower it 1 octave or try to find something else. And like, musically speaking, the melodies in that song, I mean, they do not really exist. The bass is just 1 note, the main sound is just like 2 notes, and that's it. There is nothing musical about it. Even Big Room, or actually especially Big Room, at least has like the main lead sound very rememberable. Like, everything else is very just like kick, the bass just very easy, like just 1 note, but then the main synthesizer sound usually has like something hooky to it, a very special sound that sounds very fat, and also a melody that you can remember. Like, every Big Room EDM song I can remember that made it onto Tomorrowland's main stage had like a hook going on. I'm missing that here. Anyways, so next up, by Friday, Rock Boy, produced by Ayosh, whatever.
Like guitar boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, yeah. Got some happy, got some fees, got a little tipsy, acting snappy, you can leave, I finesse a shade, you can freeze.
I'm not an expert when it comes to this kind of music. Mixing wise, everything doesn't hit as it should. I mean, we're here in a hip-hop trap direction. Nothing really hits as it should be. Like, I mean, I hate it when people say that to me as feedback. Like, it's just not fat enough. I would go back here to sound selection, selecting the right samples, the right kicks, the right snares, because if you have the right samples, everything is a lot easier. For this, obviously, I would try and search for some trap, hip-hop kind of samples. If you need samples for electronic dance music, in the description is a link where you can get samples for free, some. And then there is a link to get my newest sample pack, which is just $5 at the moment. For the next week, you also get all of the previous sample packs included. So in total, 5 sample packs for just $5. And yeah, a couple of gigabytes of like one-shots, kicks, snares, some guitars, acoustic guitars, electric guitar, like a bunch of gigabytes, even some Logic files with my songs. If you're interested to hear what these samples sound like, I've taken every single one of my upcoming single, Underwater, that you can enjoy now in the outro. If you're interested to send me songs for the next edition of Track Submits, that's also linked in the description. Thanks so much for watching. See you tomorrow again, back here in the studio. Sign out.